Welcome to Caribbean Economic Forum, and we have the great pleasure of having in studio with us people who are fast becoming icons. We were just chatting a little while ago, and it's been 16 years now since Three Canal was formed.
Well, 16 years of music.
16 years of music, but you guys have been collaborating, I think, a lot longer than
19 years.
19 years.
Business.
To my immediate left, Wendell Warren, Stanton Cooley, and Roger Roberts, the men of Three Canal. And it's really great to have you guys. You know, we're really proud of you, what you've been doing, how you've been carrying the flag of Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, around the world, and how you've taken Rapso, which is a really grassroots art form and is still, but really put it on the world stage in a way that I'm sure Brother Resistance and the early foundation members are very proud. Just to get the conversation going, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what we have to look forward to from Three Canal in terms of its offerings for this carnival season.
The season we're calling Three Canal Reborn, and that's just for us our internal mechanism for how we approach the whole season. And Rebirth speaks to the need for change. Last year we said it was re-evolution time, and we said I am the change I want to see, I am the change I have to be. Well, we say now is the time to be that change, not just to say it, and to engage the whole process of rebirth and change. Things are changing rapidly, and we have to be walk around with that change.
Great. So that's the orientation, that's the philosophy, that's the ideology in many ways that people can relate to who've been following the band for some time, and for the youth who are coming up. What about some specific events that you have? I know next week you have something coming you've been running some programs. Can you tell us a little bit about them and what are specific events that people can look forward to participating in, coming to enjoy the music and the art form?
Yeah, well, coming Friday would be our last backyard jam session, and then we move into the Queen's Hall for our show.
And the backyard jam session, for those who don't know?
The backyard jam session is a similar kind of yard vibrations that we had kind of started in Rituals Music, where we ourselves as the in-house musicians there at Rituals, we started to just perform, invite people down free on our Fridays, and just created a whole vibe. And it was amazing. At that point in time, everybody stopped in the yard. Even the big names in the business used to come in the yard and sing on a Friday evening for free, just to give the people the music. So we want to do that again. We've been doing it for the last 2 Fridays. It's an opportunity for young people, basically.
And where exactly is it?
33 Murray Street.
33 Murray Street.
In our Occupy yard, there's a big sign that says Occupy Trinidad and Tobago 2012.
That's interesting. I like that theme because it's becoming global.
Well, it is.
It is.
And Occupy is more than, it's like a state of mind. It's like, listen, this is including the majority of the people of the world.
A whole new consciousness. That whole we are the 99% versus the 1% scenario. And what I found amazing about the Occupy movement is that for me it echoes what we do naturally on a Juve morning and at the carnival time, which is claim the streets and make a statement.
Yep.
And you see that happening in all the major cities of the world, the people rising up and claiming the streets.
Right. And doing it in a uniquely Trinbagonian style. And
invoking the carnivalesque.
So I think it's really about trying to get the people to reconnect to another level of occupation, in the sense of making a difference in terms of the things that we see around us that we don't like and things that we want to change, about taking an active decision to do something about it, to let our voices be heard, and to not be afraid to say what we feel.
No, that's a very powerful statement. Moving forward, how satisfied have you been with the progress of Three Canal in terms of how you're carrying this culture outside of Trinidad?
I think we've been very, very fortunate and very successful in terms of taking what we say, our expression, particularly as Rapso men, and being able to create a space for ourselves and also for the other ones behind us, the young artists who want to say something more in a conscious manner. Because we have performed in many festivals in Europe, Latin America, the Caribbean, North America, and always with very, very, very good responses. So,
as you're speaking, I'm thinking, I know you all originally as thespians, as actors.
Yeah, acting.
And did you ever think when you started Three Canal that you would be taking our music, let me put it this art form outside?
We never even knew that we'd be doing music. We started having conversations over cups of coffee, talking about the papers, reading the papers and reacting to what's going on and saying we need to do something, we need to say something, and we did the song. And the song sort of guided us, directed where we should go.
Yeah. No, the opening line of the song, I think, is Three Canal making a statement, and we hold true to that. We sit down every year, same thing, cup of coffee, just talking about what is the statement, what are we going to say, because this thing is so powerful.
Blue, a color or pigment, Three Canal, making a statement.
And the whole thing about the blue too was the blue was really to put some maljo to cut the blight, which is what we thought was happening. There was a blight.
Well, it was the beginnings of looking at the spate of murders and all that. When you look back now, you realize we were responding to something that was happening around us that was like new to us.
Yeah. But then you even went further, and again in the tradition of Kaiso and the Shantwell, your collaboration with Andre Tanka is of particular significance. That Ben Lion, and not only the music, the lyrics, the consciousness, something of to remind us, yes, we're on an island, but we're part of a much bigger world. We need to be aware of what's going on in the world. So where are we going? Where is C3 Canal heading in terms of the next level?
Well, we engage in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Trinidad is our platform, but the world is the stage, Yeah.
The diaspora, unfortunately, responds to the big song, and they don't look at the artists per se. So you have artists who've been around for 10 years, but they don't have a big song, so they're not on the diasporic market, they're not working the carnivals and stuff like that. So
how do you deal with that?
Well, the first thing is the airplay. If we had 50% airplay on the radio, then these artists wouldn't have to quarrel at all. They would find work because there are so many markets. There's so
what
many
you're saying is we still
markets.
have not, in spite of all of the things, the broadcast code and everything, where we say we need to have more and more local content on the airwaves.
Yeah.
In fact, the way it's skewed is against us.
The Honorable Winston Gypsy Peters marched with ACT, for 50% music, local airplay. Sorry, and I mean he's there now and he's doing nothing. So I mean it's a serious thing. If we want to really look at this thing and taking it outside, you have to invest in it. We are not by ourselves. We've invested in ourselves, and that is what we take it outside. This year is an important year. 50 years independence.
That's right.
And the Olympics. Plus, they want to do a cultural Olympics. Trinidad and Tobago have so much to offer the world. They talk about multiculturalism. We've had that existing here from birth.
Gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. Don't lose that thought, Roger, because we want to come back. You're listening to the big act, 3 Canal. Stay with us on Making a Difference.
We've set our customers free from long lines and closing times, free to roam, free to live, and free to bank whenever and wherever you please. Thanks to our online and mobile banking solutions, you can enjoy banking that fits your lifestyle, not the other way around. Ah, freedom. It's so refreshing, isn't it?
First Citizens, we put you first.
Roger, just before we took a break, you were making a point, please.
Yeah, I was saying that, one of the ways that we found to sort of make a difference is to do our own stuff within the context of the carnival and not wait on somebody to call you for a gig or to hire you. So,
right. So in addition to writing and performing, you're also producing.
That's one of the big differences. Yeah. I try to explain to people every year. You may not see us in the fets, or you may not see us in certain scenes. It's simply because around this time of year we're producing, we're directing, we're writing, we're training a bunch of young people to put on our own show. And as Stanton alluded to the fact, even for the backyard jam sessions, for weeks we've had people working on site, fixing up the space, painting the place, so everybody could earn a little something at the end of the day. Every carnival time we employ over 100 people.
Yeah. We know we have produced genius. We have Peter Minchell, we have Bugsy Sharp, we have Pat Bishop Beryl, and we have now, in the contemporary global stage, we have Rihanna from Barbados, we have Nicki Minaj. But these artists, for the most part, have not been able to sustain the rest of the culture coming forward. So we know them as stars, but we don't, and we recognize that they came from Trinidad and Tobago, and we could also call people like Billy Ocean and others of Sparrow Kitchener, Stalin, I could go on. But the part that you're talking about now, I think, is critical, and I want us to go into a little bit more detail, especially for the youth who are, as you mentioned, you're not just dealing with people who can sing or who can perform, you're also teaching stage managers, script writers, producers. What is the formula, if there is such a thing, that you see for carrying, and this is probably a heavy burden I'm asking you to speak to, but I see you're up to it. So what's the formula you see for carrying a major sector of our society into the entertainment and cultural economy for the world?
Well, it's recognizing that, we have the raw material. What's lacking is the support mechanism. or what's lacking is the mindset that says there's value there, and I will invest in this and mine it to its full potential. We keep expecting that somebody, just like we've done with the plantation economy, we produce the raw sugar cane and somebody produce all the fine material from it. And in many ways we
Or the
still
cocoa, and the best cocoa is coming from Belgium, which doesn't even grow cocoa.
This country produces more culture, art, and performing artists per capita than probably anywhere else in the world. And this country has been able to result in the largest festivals wherever in the city on the planet.
Yep.
So we probably can teach the world. We can be an art factory, a performance factory for the world. So but that will only happen if the businessmen on the ground, because it's not just the government, the businessmen on the ground as well have to get involved.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap up, Wendell.
Well, really, for me, all of this speaks to valuing self, and Lancelot Lane speaks to it at the very beginning. For me, he's the man who defines what rap is, and he speaks about contempt of self, which for us is our biggest challenge. Truly believing in ourselves and investing in that.
Right, and I noticed recently you've been also quoting Martin Carter, the Guyanese poet, which reinforces the same message.
The more the men of our time we are, the more our time is. He goes on to say a lot more, but for me, those lines are so critical. I get goosebumps every time I see it.
Don't miss the Canal show, running from the 12th to the 18th at the Queen's Hall. Get your tickets early.
See, these guys are taking care of business. Roger.
I'm well, but
Happy
enjoy your carnival.
Enjoy your carnival.
And it's about love. At the end of the day, it's all love.
It's all about love. Roger Roberts, stand